guys, I am Wizarding World YouTuber Victoria-Maclean and welcome back to my channel. I know it has been a very long time since I have done any DIYs, this is true, but I wanted to make some changes this year after this video where I talk about the changes coming to 2023, not only with my channel but things that are coming as well, like Hogwarts Legacy for example. This is nothing to do with Hogwarts Legacy, but it is Harry Potter. Now, I was walking through Primark the other day looking for some emery boards. They never seem to have the ones I want, but they did have some really cute Beauty and the Beast? No, Disney princess ones for like £1, so I grabbed those instead. But I was walking through the sale section and I saw this lamp, this little battery powered bulb. Straight away this reminded me of the radio from the Gryffindor common room. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to be making that spot on, right? But I want to create a version that's easy for you guys to create yourselves at home. And it will also be a working radio as well, or at least a speaker. Thanks to this wonderful mini Primark one that I was given by Janice a while ago. These were sold in Primark a few years ago. So as you can see, it will be officially licensed with this item inside it, but it will be created by me and hopefully easy enough for you to copy at home. Now, I haven't actually done one. Me and Adam were in the shed last night picking out all the stuff that I think I might need, including the hairdryer and everything else. So I'm literally just going to get on with it and just talk you guys through it as I go. Hopefully it'll be enjoyable because I love being creative. I even have a studio out my back garden, huge studio that can fit the entire length of the width of my house in, and that was my work area until it just became a storage room, but I'm determined to change that this year. So I'm going to put some stuff on the floor so it gives me a bit more space. So the first thing I'm going to do is we've got a glass dome over the bulb. Now, I don't really need the glass dome. I might use it, I don't know, but I don't need the glass dome. Now, it is only attached on by some glue in the crevice here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my hairdryer to heat the glue up. It might get a bit messy, but we're going to see how it goes, and we're going to try and very carefully detach the dome from the actual wooden base that we have without damaging anything inside, we hope. Now, this doesn't seem to be budging at all. The glue inside is melting, but the glue at the bottom of it is not. So it's not a massive problem if I don't take the glass dome off. It just wasn't going to look as like the radio, but I'm going to leave the glass dome on because I think it's just going to be better. That is not coming undone anytime soon. So I'm going to put the hairdryer down and we are actually going to get on. Now, this is actually quite an idea for the size. Now, I've got a picture on my phone of the radio from the Gryffindor common room. It's very complicated, however, I'm not making it like this. It's not going to be exactly like this. So this is the picture that I've got on my phone. Now, I'm going to use the size of the base to create the circle where that net, the speaker part is. So I'm going to do this, and what this is here is my trusty cardboard that I always keep on hand if I need to do any kind of creating. There's one thing you've got to know is cardboard is the best thing for DIY because cardboard can be manipulated in so many ways, and you can use normal cardboard like from a box, it's not a problem, but I have this thicker than normal cardboard that does need to have a Stanley knife or a very sharp pair of scissors. So I'm going to get on with this. So we are looking at a kind of, it's like a weird kind of shape like this. So you want that circle to be right in the middle of that shape, and then we would go from there. So I'm going to try and see what size we need this to be. So I'm going to measure it to the actual base I am using. Of all the things I don't have spare on me, I don't have a pencil. Now, a lot of this is going to be done freehand as well, so obviously if you're not comfortable using freehand, then don't. Do it with some sort of template. Because it's in pencil, you can always manipulate it afterwards by drawing it to the size you actually want if you do find it's too small. Now, so I've drawn the basic shape of the front of the radio. It's quite a big size. But then you've also got these kind of lines creating the shape of the speaker. So you want to draw those in. So again, they're all kind of matching at the bottom. So I want to try and get them exactly right. So this is literally a guide pencil line. I gave all my rubbers to Harry the other day. I wish I hadn't now. I'm going to need them. This is where I wish I was ambidextrous. I think he's got them in his drawer, so I'll probably go and pinch them back off him just while I'm doing this. I'm doing a bit of a Blue Peter. You will have more time to do this than I will, so I'm kind of rushing it. But in my eyes, what makes something look really good is the painting of it afterwards. When you actually have that time to paint it, you can make it look real wood. You can make it look real metal with paint. It's so easy to do. And that's how I've managed to create things like the Iron Throne, because the Iron Throne I made is out of cardboard. But it doesn't look like it's made out of cardboard. It looks like it's made out of metal. But it's not. And then the last piece, I just want to make sure that I get these in the right place. We want it to end about there. So this one's slightly off, so we want to make it a bit inwards a bit more. So I'm just going to go in that a bit more, but I can redo that then when I'm cutting it out. And then you've got this circular, like what they use as a mouth, because actually when you watch it, it's meant to move. Obviously we're not creating a mouth. I'm not that clever. So we do want to create a circle, which is actually quite high up to the top. And that mouth will be created with cardboard. It's part of the actual wood if you look. You can get a general size of it. Now, this part here is the dial. So it goes from quite far over. So we want the dial about there. And then again across. And then there. So all of this is going to be cut out. So that is not straight, Victoria. And then you've got little dials and so on. So you need to kind of lift up a dial here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat with this part. Is I'm literally going to cut out, or even I'm going to cut that bit out, and I'm even going to put a little pin there to make it look like a dial. So I don't really have to make anything specific, I'm cheating. And that is your basic cardboard design. So I'm going to now cut this out. So I need to get my chopping board, and Adam, bless him, has already given me a standing knife. Now please, please, please be very, very careful, because I have sliced off part of my finger with one of these, and it's now very numb because they didn't put the nerves back in together. So I've got I actually do have some massive pieces of plastic, but we couldn't find them last time when we were looking in the shed. So I'm just using a normal, very thin chopping board. So we're going to very carefully cut this out. Now always have a chopping board or something underneath it. Plastic works brilliantly. A normal wooden chopping board works well as well. So just be very, very careful. Now you don't have to cut it in too deep to begin with. This is going to be very, very, very messy. I think I'm going to have to use a pair of scissors to tidy it up. But luckily it's not as stiff as it should be, because it's been in the shed for God knows how long. So this cardboard is quite malleable, as I should say. Now the ideal thing to do with this is, once you've created it, is to paper mache it. Now the idea of paper mache is obviously you've got PVA glue. I was thinking of doing it, but I'd have to go and get a newspaper because we chucked all ours away before Christmas. And you use very small pieces of paper mache, very small pieces of paper rather than big pieces, because if you use big pieces it tends to crease, and a bit like your fingers when you put them in water for too long, it creases. So the smaller pieces you use, the better it is, and the thicker your PVA glue is with water, so maybe 2 parts glue, 1 part water, you'll have a much better consistency and a much smoother finish. And the thinner the paper, especially tissue paper, works brilliant. Saying that, I actually do have a lot of tissue paper. I got loads of Harry Potter tissue paper, but I wouldn't want to paint over it afterwards. If you make a mistake, there's nothing wrong with you doing it again, okay? I've already made mistakes, and I would normally do it again, but because I'm doing this DIY video to show you just a simple way of doing it, I'm not doing it again. I'm happy to leave my mistakes. But yes, be very careful when you're cutting things out, okay? And starting on a smaller piece of cardboard is much easier because you can turn it. This is not easy, but once I cut it out, it'll be easier. I feel like Adam's giving me a a really blunt blade, but he hasn't, to be fair. He hasn't even used it. This isn't normally a blade I'd use. See, I'd use a normal Stanley knife. This is a scalpel knife, scalpel blade. I'm literally just cutting this quickly now to get it off. And then I'll correct any problems I've done with scissors. There we are. Okay, so I'm going to put the lid back on this for now, just while I'm cutting the edges off. See, this is where paper mache would be brilliant, because it would allow you to get that smooth edged finish rather than a jagged one like this is created. But paper mache would take a good couple of days to do that, because you'd need to do a couple of layers and leave it to dry. So apologies if you can't see anything close up, because my memory card just failed. So this is the start of the front of the radio. Okay, so now we're going to cut out all the individual pieces. So I'm going to use string now to go around here so this can bend into shape, just to see how I get on. But this string does have a secondary purpose, so don't let that go too far either, because you're going to need your string. And I'm going to show you why after I've done this. If you notice with the speaker, it shows that there is wire around the base of the bulb. Now what I'm going to do with the string is I'm actually going to glue it to the base of here and make it look like wire going all the way down. So we're going to start off by gluing a tiny piece of glue at the back of your bulb. Now it should still be hot, because obviously we've only just unplugged it. So this does get messy, so be prepared to get messy, but I'm sorry, crafting, and if you don't like mess, then you shouldn't be crafting. Unless you can do it without being messy, and then I want to know your secrets. This is time consuming, but it's also how I made my okami nest. And finish at the back, so if you do make a mistake, it's not obvious, and it's okay. You know, you're not going to feel like everybody can see it. So that is the string to make it look like wire done. So it's not looking too bad at all. Now when you look at the picture, it has a base. So we want to try and create the base. So the cardboard is going to have to come back on the table, and I do have an idea for the base. So we're going to need to make it slightly bigger, however, deep enough for this speaker to fit underneath. And obviously there is a sticky part, so the sticky part will go in the cardboard. So what you'll do is you'll lift it off, you'll pick that up, turn it on, put it back down, and then that will sit on top and your speaker will work. Obviously you need to be able to get to the batteries as well. So we're going to try and figure that out. So I found a better pair of scissors and some cardboard. So what I'm going to do with this cardboard is I'm going to create a template that will be roughly the size we need to create our space. So we want to do a square. So we want it to be here, perhaps. We don't want it to be too big. It's not going to be appealing if the base is way too big. So we'll say about there, and we need it as deep as the speaker. So the speaker is about there. So we'll go maybe slightly below, so we've got a little bit of space to hear the music, obviously, and then go across like so. So we need a template of 4 of these, and then we're going to have to create a different size for them because there's a triangle here. So I need to be able to have them exactly the same size to create that shape. So let's have a go, because all of these pieces are going to fit together. So that is the piece I have cut out Right, so we now have a template and we have some card. So don't waste your card, try and get as much out of it as you can. So we need 4 of these. 4 of these pieces of card. Okay, so we've got 4 pieces of card and then we have 4 triangles. I'm hoping this works. I'm not sure if it will, but I'm hoping it works. So we have 4 pieces of card that we're going to stick together with our glue gun. Now, if you really want it to stay where you want it and you're worried about letting go and stuff, then masking tape is your best friend. Masking tape will hold the item together while you glue it in place. So that is what I'm going to do. Ahsoka is currently playing in a bag, the bag that I'm going to be using for Saturday's unbagging.
I mean, it angles inward, so...
Yes, angles inward with the triangle shapes.
Yeah. So, then it still has a bit of space on the outside of the circle, but...
Fair enough. Right, here we go.
Oh, I've ruined it.
Why have I ruined it? You pain. And the good thing is nobody can see because it's on the inside. If you don't like it, if it's too messy, then you can use the tip of the glue gun to smooth it into place. I've got to be honest, I'm not doing a very good job of this. I blame Daniel, he's distracted me. Now we have some triangles which are not going to fit. So I thought they would, I'm not going to lie. So once the glue goes cold, I will be taking off the masking tape. See, even I'm learning. So what we now need to do is to draw the triangle shape, and we need 4 of these to create our base. So at the moment this is wonky, but once I create the template for the top, that will keep it flat. So this is what your speaker is going to sit on. So the next thing I want to do is create the dials for the front. So what I'm going to do is I've got a little milk bottle top here and we're going to create a dial using this. So it'll be like that. You won't be able to use it, but it will look like a dial once we've finished. But we're going to decorate everything. We're going to, create everything today. And then in part 2, we are going to be painting it. And that is where I will show you how important paint actually is when you're creating something. I'm using the glue to fill in any gaps as well that the cardboard has left. And so obviously once this is all done, then it'll look much better. But again, this is why paper mache is so important, because I could have covered up all of these problems just with paper mache. So far the base is looking really good. Obviously there's a few pieces where the cardboard sticks out. Just trim it off. You don't need to worry about it. It's not a massive problem. You just trim it off. That's all you're doing. So it looks nice and clean. Look at that. And it's a really strong base for your radio to sit on. So I'm really pleased with that. It's looking really good. So now what I want to do is create the dial for the front. Now I have a milk bottle top, which is the perfect size for the front of this box. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a secondary circle around this onto a piece of card. We are going to create the dial at the top. So really we need 2 circles. So the first one, we need to draw a circle that is the same size as the milk bottle top. However, with this, we're going to create a little dial point. And we are going to try and cut the circle and keep that little dial point on there. So the best thing to do is just cut it out of the cardboard roughly, like so, and then cut around it as best you can. Try not to go too small because you need the milk bottle top to stick to this dial, okay? So don't go smaller than the milk bottle top, otherwise you're going to lose the whole illusion. So there we have the dial. So that will stick to the milk bottle top like that, and it'll look like a dial you can move. But first of all, before we want to do anything else, we want to create another circle that this then will stick onto. So you need the circle that you have just cut out, and you need to go bigger than that one. If you have something to draw around, do it. I've got a primer here which might be too small. It is too small. If I had a compass it would be even better. You also don't want to make it so big that it won't fit on the front, which I'm actually thinking it might be too big. So I may have to dial down the size a bit more. Yeah, that's too big. So we want to go for the smaller size that I drew around the lid. So I've now stuck the dial on because all of that is going to be painted. And that is the base complete for now. This then will stick underneath the speaker, so we could have the speaker part that's facing this bit, and it'll be in the right position for you to be able to turn it on and play your favourite music from it as well. So I sprayed both of these with a primer. It's as messy as it can be. I have literally just done it as a messy job. You don't need anything specific. It's just to make the painting better, as in you've got more of a base to put the paint on. So that is it. That is as far as we've got with our radio. I'm so excited for this to actually be finished. But this is part 1. There will be a part 2, hopefully next week. And you get to see how it looks when it's all finished. So until next time, take care. I love you all. And I'll speak to you very, very soon. Bye-bye. Want to check out more of my content? Take a look at this video right here or this video right here. Don't forget to like and subscribe.